Hello, everyone. Welcome into another Coach's Corner. I'm Gina Ramirez, back with you for another little expert episode because today, or this month, the whole month is actually back to school and stress less month. And I've been doing these guest expert interviews, which have been so fun for me to learn more about stressing less as school starts, whether you're the parent, whether you're the kid. And if you've been following me anytime at all, you know that I talk the mind, the body, and the behavioral wellness. And so this fits right in to what we've been doing with wellness, bringing down the emotional stress level. And today I've got Kristin with me, and I will let her share a little bit about herself, her journey, what she's doing now.
Well, thank you, Gina. It's so fun to be on today. So thank you for having me. I'm Kristin Buchtel. I am the author of a book called Noteworthy Parenting. So it helps parents create their own unique parenting roadmap by thinking ahead. Yes, there it is. Thank you. And I am a former first grade teacher. I am a grandma to two little ones. I live in Denver, Colorado. I'm actually in Toronto right now, so I'm glad to be with you today from Toronto in Canada. But I feel it's really important. It helps parents to stress less, to think ahead and work together on their parenting plans. So that's why I wrote the book. It's a fun, easy read, quick read so that people can get started creating their own parenting plans for their unique family. So that's me.
Yeah, and I love this. So you guys know what it looks like. It looks like this. But what I love about it is that you can go to where you are. So I feel like for most parenting books, it's kind of like you have to start from the beginning. But what if you're not at the beginning? You know what I mean? So you can go right to where your kiddo is. And because, of course, that's what I did. And you look to see, like, what are the tips? What do I need to do here? Tell me everything. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And you're right, super quick read. And then you've got this companion journal that kind of goes along with it. So if you want to take notes or take it to the next level, you've also got this little companion here. Especially, I think it helps too when you are sitting down with your partner and you guys are trying to come up with a plan, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. So yeah, if you guys are looking for something, I'm definitely gonna plug the book.
Thank you.
So let's talk stress and how to kind of bring down the emotional stress level, your emotional temperature for the kiddo. So we're switching gears a little bit. I know last time we talked a lot about like the parent, but what do we do for the kids, whether you've got a first grader, kindergartner, little one, or all the way up to maybe college age, starting college it's kind of, I feel like the same, but not.
It is different. And I guess I should have mentioned that I'm the parent of 4 adult kids. So as a teacher, I've seen it from the teacher standpoint, the kids, the parenting, the whole bit, all the way through the ages. So what I have found that helps kids a lot with starting back to school, and we'll some of these will just kind of, they kind of go across the spectrum of age. But the first thing is to think about what is it that's ahead of your child for this upcoming stage, whatever grade they're in, or if they're going off to college. So for younger kids, they might need help, being independent. They may need help learning to tie their shoe or zip their coat or open a milk carton. And those are things you can practice at home that can help them with their anxiety about what they're going to have to be doing by themselves at school. Sometimes even just understanding how to put stuff in a backpack for them is a big deal. And then you have kids going off to middle school who are likely changing classrooms. They might need a little guidance with time management. They also may need help learning to use a combination lock. If they haven't done that for the first time, there's a lot of pressure of, I need to get to class. I've only got 5 minutes in my passing period. This is new to me, and I have to get into my locker. One of my kids carried all of their books in their backpack because they were so worried they weren't going to have time, in the
Oh,
beginning of middle school to, open their locker, even if you have
right.
to buy a combination lock at home, so they could practice on that. And then for high schoolers, I would say, they may need help learning to park their car at the student parking lot. Go with them ahead of time and practice the ins and outs of how to get in there. Sometimes there's one ways into the parking lot and out of it. And while they may be familiar with that, they're not familiar with driving a car in to do that and to park. So, that, and then for college kids, learning to deal with bureaucracy,
Oh,
having
yes.
to wait, having to go set up an appointment with an advisor, and waiting for financial aid and filling out the online applications and things like that, which they've probably already done at this point. But dealing with that bureaucracy on their own is kind of that next stage of adulthood. So practicing those things ahead of time, for the younger kids, role playing can help ahead of school. Another thing I like to bring up is books are some of our best teaching tools and ways to connect with kids. Now, this is probably more on the younger end, but reading a book about a character that's going off to school, how are they feeling? How's your child feeling? Kind of opens up some conversation starters. And the last thing, this goes for all ages, and that is have a first day of school dinner debrief. Everyone comes
Hmm.
home, or I mean, it's going to be hard for your college age kid if they're away, so this may not work for them. But for your kids that are in town and younger, it's kind of a way to celebrate that they made it through the first day. It's something to look forward to, maybe a favorite meal or dessert or going out, and everyone gets a chance to kind of download how their day went, and what was the good, the bad, and the ugly, so as a parent what to celebrate and what they're going to need help with.
Yeah, yeah, those are some good things. I think the through line that I'm hearing is preparation. Like, do your due diligence in preparing whatever that means for the different stages. And I also think learning how to be your own self advocate, is something that they need help with, especially if mom or dad has been the one who's been advocating for them and, making those appointments and doing all the things. It's like they don't really know how to navigate. So if they can begin to practice that skill, that would be probably helpful.
Yes, yes. And, they can start doing some of that when they're, middle school, something,
Yes.
or high school, to call and set up a doctor's appointment if you're right there. Because, of course, there's questions that they may not know how to answer about insurance or whatever, but then they have some
Hmm.
experience.
Hmm. Yeah, I think we forget that. Especially, I'm going to speak as a mom. I forget that. Yeah, you because you're so used to doing everything, and it's faster, frankly.
Yes.
For us to do it ourselves. But really, we need to kind of let some of that go. So you talk a little bit about creating a plan. How does that kind of fit into this whole talk about letting go of some of the stress?
Well, sure. I found that as a parent, my spouse and I sat down probably halfway through our parenting career and wish I would have thought of this sooner, but I didn't. So some of my oldest daughter was heading into her teen years, and we started talking about what the norms were when he was growing up and the norms were that when I was growing up. And as we talked, we started coming up with ideas, and I started writing them down. We were on a road trip, and it helped immensely because number one, it helped us set up the routines ahead of time. So thinking about, this is on a smaller scale with back to school, but what is the homework routine? What's the bedtime routine, the morning routine? And if parents are on the same page with what that looks like, and kids are on the same page with what that looks like, it is efficient, even though it's going to take time to teach them the routine. In the beginning, as a teacher, at the beginning of the year, we had a saying that was go fast or go slow to go fast. And what that meant was train the kids how to do things so they can do them independently, and then you are efficient. So the same thing in parenting. What are the routines? Everyone's on the same page. What are the rules? Are as parents, are how many extracurricular activities are kids going to, be allowed to do? We don't think about those things, right? We just go out and sign our kids up because it's the next thing. But maybe if we sat back and said, oh, instead of, 5 activities per kid, we're going to cut that down to 3 or 2 or whatever it may be. But taking the time, how much am I going to volunteer, etc., puts everybody in the on the same page, so that as the school year gets busy, everybody knows the routine. Mom's not doing it different than dad, or whoever, your spouses are doing things together. The kids aren't going and asking for special favors from one parent, knowing that they're gonna be lenient or whatever it may be. So it saves a lot of stress. It improves your relationship, not only as parents, but as a whole family. And if kids are older, they can participate in what they think the routines and things should be. And that's kind of a growing and learning experience for them as well. So, I think creating a parenting plan all around, for everything, planning out your tough talks you're going to have with your kids. Maybe you have a child going into high school or middle school, and you need to have some of those heavy duty talks about, partying and etc. You can write your notes down, and then you're prepared just as you would be for a business meeting.
Yeah, yeah.
It makes it a
I
lot
totally
easier.
concur. Yes, it makes it a lot easier, and it helps the child as well, I think, to have those boundaries. I always like to say that it's almost like the analogy of the swimming pool. I don't know if you've heard this analogy, but as you're learning to swim, it's kind of like the child learning how to navigate life no matter what age. You get tired, right? As you're learning to swim, treading water, and the sides of the pool are like the parents. And when they get tired, they can swim to the side to get some relief. But really, they're supposed to be in the middle, kind of navigating. And when you have a plan, I feel like that's that structure, the edges of the pool that they can come back to and know, oh, this is the rule for this. No, I don't get to watch TV until my homework is done, or whatever that rule may be. So you're really creating a safety net, in my opinion, that plan becomes that safety net for them.
Yeah, that is a great analogy I haven't heard. I go on it's a journey. You're on, a roadmap. You're creating that map, that plan. But I really like that. You're right. They get tired, and they do need that support. They do need to,
Right.
feel that security of having that wall there, while they're also trying to branch out and swim on their
Yes.
own. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I will reference you. I will use that.
Sure, absolutely. And we try to keep it lighthearted. We try to keep it fun. Parenting isn't supposed to be awful and this terrible task that we must, trudge through, but we want to keep it lighthearted. What can we do to keep the fun going?
A couple of things there too. So I would add a couple of family days onto your calendar today.
Yeah.
Go, throughout the year, just pick however many you feel. I would say at least 3 or 4 throughout the year on the school calendar, and those are family days that you keep. And you can do whatever you want on those days. It could be a low key day at home. It could be that, you go for a hike or you go to dinner, but it's reserved just to relax and have fun as a family, however you wish at that time. But at least you have it on the calendar now. If you don't put it on the calendar now,
Right.
then it's not going to happen.
No, no,
We know
that
how
is
that
for
goes.
sure.
And,
Absolutely.
think outside of the box a little bit. My husband traveled a lot, throughout our parenting career. And certainly I would come home, especially when I was teaching, exhausted. And if we didn't have any events, carpooling we needed to accomplish, it would be a breakfast is for dinner. Everyone get your pajamas on. It'd be 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and we're doing homework in pajamas and eating pancakes. So, that was
Yeah.
fun. Or, just select something that's for your family that would just be a little bit outside of the box. that's kind of a fun activity, and just kind of have that as your go-to on stressful nights. I also love sticky notes. Sticky note pads everywhere. You can leave a note for your child on their mirror, on their bathroom door.
Mhm.
They could leave notes for you. It's a great way to just take a second, and give them a little, draw a picture for them if they can't read yet, or, hey, good luck on this test today, whatever it may be. I think that, kind of is a fun way to connect with your kids, that especially teenagers, sometimes maybe they're like,
Yes.
oh, mom. Well, if you leave a note somewhere, it's kind of fun. It's on colored paper. I mean, who doesn't love that? I mean, they may roll their eyes later, but they loved it in the moment. And then the last thing I like to mention is, I love this idea that, and I've created a resource for it, but it's called a family fun happy hour. So on Fridays, it's basically the same take on a happy hour that adults would go to, but of course with kid friendly beverages. But the family sits back and you have some fun appetizers, and maybe they have a smoothie, and you can have whatever beverage you want, but and you can talk. The idea is you relax as a family, you talk about how your week went, and
Mhm.
it's just a way to let your hair down. We do it as adults, and I think it's kind of a fun idea to do as a family as well. So,
Yeah, for sure. I love these ideas. Thank you for that.
sure.
As we wrap up, tell people where they can find more of you if they really want to dig into your book or more about this conversation.
Sure. They can find me at Noteworthy Parenting on Instagram and Facebook. And I have a website, noteworthyparenting.com. And the book and the journal are available on Amazon. So if you look up Noteworthy Parenting on Amazon or wherever you buy books, you would be able to get a copy and get started. So,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on the Coach's Corner. This has been so fun. Thanks to all of you who are watching. Watch the replay. It is a great topic now because everybody is going back to school August, September. So take all these tips in, you guys, and really dig in and try to come up with something to make it lighthearted and fun and relieve some of the stress of the beginning of school. All right, friends, I will see you next week on another Coach's Corner. Have a great week.